DreAllDay.com.
So that time of year again, NBA playoffs, playoff preview. People have been asking me, am I doing it? I'm doing it, you're watching it. If you didn't see the Eastern Conference, I did the Eastern Conference first because I live on the East Coast. Now we're doing the Western Conference. So first we're gonna talk about the trash, 1, 2, 3, the trashy 7 teams that did not make the playoffs. Then we're gonna talk about the good 8 teams that did make the playoffs and my prediction for each series. First of all, at the bottom, the Phoenix Suns. 19-63, is that the worst record in the league? No, second worst, tied for second worst record in the league after the Knicks. Phoenix Suns drafted, then they had a #1 pick. They got DeAndre Ayton, who looked like completely lost on defense. I saw a couple games early in the year, he looked completely lost on D, but it looked like he figured it out a little bit, put up good stats on paper. Devin Booker is a stud offensively. I'm not sure what kind of player he really is because he's on a team whose franchise seems to be all over the place. Their coaching situation has been all over the place. They don't have good players around him yet. So who knows? And he signed a max contract there, so he's going to be there. So who knows what kind of player Devin Booker actually is until Phoenix gets the right type of pieces around him. And we'll see if or when that ever happens. But that's all we need to say about Phoenix. They're going to get a high draft pick. Maybe Reddish from Duke. I'm not sure about Reddish because he disappeared in the game that they needed him most. Zion Williamson on this team would be interesting. I think Devin Booker and Zion together would be an interesting watch, if nothing else. I don't know how could they keep Ayton on the team with him. And RJ Barrett would be good too, actually. Because he can handle the ball. So any of those, if they get either of the top 2 guys, even if they get Morant, any of those top 3 guys, that'd be good for Phoenix. They pretty much need everything except for a center. Even if they got a shooting guard, they can figure out a way to make it work with both because they can both handle the ball. Dallas Mavericks, applaud their trade. They won 33 games, so Dallas wasn't horrible. They were not good. They weren't horrible. So we got 3 teams won 33 games in the West. They were not horrible. Of course we know Luka's great. I love the trade for Porzingis. When him and Luka get on the court together, and I think Mark Cuban's going to do everything in his power to not let KP walk after this contract year that's coming up. They keep those 2 guys together, and then you make everything else work around them. That's the way that you build a contender. So that was a great trade, great risk for Dallas to make those moves to get those 2 guys on the same team together, 2 Euro guys. And they just both watched how Dallas took care of Dirk Nowitzki and gave him the great send-off and all that. I don't think Porzingis is going anywhere. He's going to come back next year. He's going to be 100%. Luka's going to be in his 2nd year. Dallas should be a playoff team next year. I see them making the playoffs. They got a guy like Courtney Lee. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. They got some guys who can go around them as role players, playing in their right roles, slotted in the right spots instead of being looked at as the best player on the team like Hardaway was for half the season in New York. They can be a playoff team next year if everybody's healthy. So Dallas has a positive, bright future and a good coach in Carlisle. The New Orleans Pelicans. Mr. Anthony Davis. I'm a fan of Anthony Davis. Great player, obviously. He's one of the top when he's healthy. I mean, you could make an argument that he's one of the top 5 players in the league in terms of what he brings to the court. I think he is when he's healthy. That's a whole different conversation. However, Anthony Davis did some not good things for himself this past season. First of all, he signed with Rich Paul and Clutch Sports, who we know Rich Paul is like LeBron's brother. They got a TV show together and talking about their upbringing and how they're together and how everybody's all intertwined. So Anthony Davis signed with Rich Paul, and we know that when a player signs with Rich Paul, that means the player wants to make some power moves and empower himself and this whole player empowerment thing that we got going on. So Anthony Davis decided to join that party. Fine, you want to get it, you can have whoever you want as your agent. Then he did the whole, so he's 2 years off on his contract. This past season and this upcoming season, he's still under contract with the New Orleans Pelicans. So they come out of nowhere and they let everybody know Anthony Davis wants to trade. He requests a trade from the New Orleans Pelicans, wants to go to a team where he can contend for a championship. And it was put out there to the media, probably by somebody who actually knew Anthony Davis had a certain teams that he wanted to go to. I want to go to this team or this team or this team or this team. Teams that are contenders where he could actually compete for a championship. Like you said, he didn't want to go to the Suns. He wanted to go to a team where he could compete. But then he said at the All-Star break, no, I didn't. I just wanted to go to any team. Any team I'll go to. I'll go to the Knicks, I'll go to whoever, any team he just wanted to go to. But then his dad was saying he wanted to go to the Bulls, whatever. We all know, regardless of what Anthony Davis said in his prepared PR statements, he wanted to go to the Lakers. He signed with Rich Paul, whose his blood brother is LeBron James, who plays for the Lakers. LeBron James wanted some better teammates on his team so he can, because he's on the clock right now, LeBron James, an aging LeBron James. And he was going to trade everybody to get Anthony Davis. They thought it was going to work. Magic Johnson thought it was going to work. It didn't work because the New Orleans Pelicans, you could say spitefully, or I would say, if I'm the Pelicans, rightfully said, you know what, Anthony Davis, fuck you. We are not trading you to the LA Lakers because you're trying to basically bum rush us. You got a year and a half left on your contract and you're trying to tell us where you want us to trade you. We don't have to do anything. You under contract, you work for us. You signed a 5-year contract with us a couple years ago. You still under that contract. You have no power. Now he's trying to do this whole player empowerment thing, following the LeBron blueprint, if we want to call it a blueprint. And we can't really because Anthony Davis doesn't have the same circumstances as LeBron, so he can't follow the LeBron blueprint, even though he's trying to, which is a whole other fuck up that Anthony Davis committed, not even realizing it. And Rich Paul, his agent, didn't tell him. The Pelicans say, you know what, fuck you, we're not doing anything. And you know what? You're not even going to play the whole games anymore. You're going to play 20 minutes a game, and we're not trading. So Anthony Davis basically took an entire season of his prime. Anthony Davis is in his prime right now. Y'all remember how he was last year in the playoffs when they killed the Portland Trail Blazers? He was dominant. People was like, yo, Anthony Davis is fucking nice. Like, besides LeBron and KD, Anthony Davis is next. We was like, he's the third best player in the league. Maybe Steph Curry, maybe Giannis, maybe. Anthony Davis was right there. Maybe James Harden, maybe Anthony Davis was playing that great. So the following year after that, he basically lost half the season. He's playing 20 minutes a game and still getting 20 and 10 in his 20 minutes a game. He threw away half his season by this staged trade coup, which I'm going to say that Anthony Davis, because the Pelicans coach Alvin Gentry said in a press conference right before the end of the season, he said positive things about Anthony Davis, but he said, I think Anthony Davis got some bad advice. And I agree with Alvin Gentry. Anthony Davis got some bad advice because Anthony Davis did not orchestrate that whole trade thing on his own. And if he was just going to walk or he was going to quietly request a trade, he wouldn't need to sign with Rich Paul. Why he need to sign with Rich Paul? Look, Anthony Davis is going to get a max contract if I was his agent. All right, I could be Anthony Davis' agent and get that max contract and get that 3% agent bonus. Anthony Davis, I will gladly represent you and not give you any bad advice. He signed with Rich Paul because he wanted to fast forward this whole situation, even though he was under contract, and force a move, even though he had no leverage whatsoever to force a move. And the Pelicans showed him, they laid the smackdown on his career, basically by trashing the whole year of his career, Anthony Davis's career, by benching him and not having him play the whole game. Anthony Davis got some bad advice from Rich Paul. That's where that came from. And Rich Paul is LeBron's man. And Rich Paul was trying to trade Anthony Davis to LeBron's team, so LeBron's fingerprints are on this whole situation. Magic Johnson is collateral damage to the situation, but he's not innocent at all. He's collateral damage because he took on that job with the Lakers because he thought, because of his $1 million smile and because of his charm and personality, which he has a lot of, I'm not being sarcastic, that free agents would just come running and knocking on, breaking down the Lakers' door. That didn't happen. So we kind of talking about the Lakers and the Pelicans at the same time. But Magic Johnson realized, damn, the free agents didn't just show up like I thought they would, like I guaranteed they would in my introductory press conference, because he did do that. You can go look at the footage. When he realized that he was the one who had to actually do some fucking work to get some good players on the Lakers, he said, you know what, I don't want to do this work. I don't want to do this hard work to get good players on the team, so he quit. So all of this, we can root this in, first of all, Magic Johnson thinking that he was, just because of his name alone, that he was going to get star free agents. LeBron thinking that he could just orchestrate and move people around to get the players that he wanted. And he's done it before. Magic has done it before. So they both had good reason to believe what they believe. Rich Paul represents the most powerful guy in the league in terms of players, being LeBron James. So he had a little bit of hubris, thinking that I can get any player to go anywhere that I want him to go, because I'm like the ringmaster behind the scenes. And he had good reason to believe that, because again, he's standing next to the most powerful player in the league. And then they all tried to orchestrate this. They roped Anthony Davis into believing that he could be a part of this and just ride this wave of player empowerment, and the whole thing just got turned around and smacked him in the face. Anthony Davis lost a season of his prime because of this. He got the worst of the whole situation. Magic Johnson still got a $100 million businesses that he runs outside of the Lakers. LeBron James got a 4-year deal with the Lakers. He got injured this year, but he's still him regardless. Rich Paul's still an agent and doing what Rich Paul is doing. He didn't lose any of his career. Anthony Davis lost a year of his career behind this dumb shit. He got some bad advice. Then he went on LeBron James' TV show and says something as ridiculous as, I'm the CEO of my own company, so I'm gonna take control of my legacy and all these things. Anthony Davis, listen, check this out. The CEO of a company, first of all, the whole thing with the That's All Folks t-shirt, like, you can't claim you don't know what kind of clothes you got on if you're the CEO of a company. Secondly, if you're the CEO of a company, CEOs call their own shots. You don't go trying to follow somebody else's blueprint. He's trying to follow the player empowerment thing. And he went on the LeBron James PR show to try to defend himself. Like, people get mad. What he said, the actual words he said was, people get mad when you don't do what they want you to do. Like, motherfucker, you signed a 5-year contract. What are you talking about what they want you to do? You signed a 5-year deal. You're in year 4 of a 5-year contract. You're not doing what you want to do. You chose to sign a contract. So honor your fucking contract and play for the team you signed with. Now you're trying to force a trade and people start bashing you for trying to force a trade and you're defending yourself as if you are the one who is doing right. No, you're not. You signed a deal, honor your contract. That's what a CEO does. You can't just say, all right, you know what? I signed on to be CEO of Microsoft for the next 5 years, but you know what? I want to get traded to Apple. And then when they don't do it, you go on TV and defend yourself like, hey, I'm the CEO of my own company. No, motherfucker, you the CEO of the team that you signed with. So honor your contract, dude. And you got some bad advice. You want to be the mini LeBron player empowerment guy, and that shit failed. This whole player empowerment thing is a whole different conversation. Everybody who's kind of run around touting that and talking about it out of their mouths have all made themselves look bad. And we really think about it. Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Davis, Antonio Brown, even if they got their money, even though they're great players, they made themselves look like dickheads by talking too much and trying to prove that they're something other than just a great athlete. Be a great athlete. It's okay to be a great athlete. Now, LeBron made the TV show, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but we gotta say all this shit. LeBron made the TV show more than an athlete. Kevin Durant got a TV show called, what is it, The Boardroom, where he's showing everybody, he's waving the big banner, hey everybody, I'm a business guy too, not just a basketball player. Look, NBA players, NFL players, young black athletes, it's okay to be great at playing a sport and that being the only thing people know you for. It's okay. You don't have to prove to people that you do more than play ball if you're great at playing ball and you make $10 million playing ball. If somebody had called me when I was hooping and said, Dre, look, forget about YouTube videos and writing books and online courses and coaching and consulting, just play ball, we'll pay you $10 million a year. I'm like, yo, send me the fucking contract. I'll sign that shit right now. Like, y'all don't have to be anything other than a ball player. If you're great at playing ball, you in the top 1% in the world at what you do, is all right to just do that. It's okay. You don't have to prove that you're something other than that. I don't understand it. I do understand it. When the woman on Fox came out with the whole shut up and dribble thing, I think it exacerbated an insecurity that a lot of these young athletes have had for a long time, but now it allowed it to come to the surface, is that a lot of these guys are insecure about the fact that they play the sport and they're great and they make all this money, and they think that people, the commoners, they think that the common people think that they're dumb or they're not that smart or that they never would have made any money if it wasn't for their ability to play sports. So now they got to come out and prove that they're more than an athlete. So LeBron makes a TV show called More Than an Athlete. Now you got guys like Anthony Davis coming on TV sounding stupid, talking about I'm the CEO of my own company, but then saying I don't know what kind of clothes I had on, even though it's right there on TV. Somebody laid out my clothes for me and I didn't notice. Like, come on, man. Kevin Durant with a TV show telling everybody how he's a business guy because it's not okay to just be a great basketball player, one of the best players in the history of the game. Listen, man, just play ball. If you're great at playing ball, it's okay to be great at one thing. I know there's a lot of people these days who are great at many things, and maybe by force of nature they had to because of their circumstances. Maybe they just are talented, but it's all right to just be good at one thing. And I know this is a long tangent that I'm making here, but I had to make sure I was going to do a separate vid on this point, but I will just put it all here in this video. This whole player empowerment with players, you don't like your situation, so you start bitching and complaining and try to force a trade and you try to get Rich Paul to do it, and then when it backfires, you go on LeBron's show to defend yourself. Look, just play ball. If you're great at playing ball, play fucking ball. Anthony Davis, you might have another year playing for the fucking Pelicans, and then you can empower yourself and be the CEO of your own company, and then choose a team to play for. I mean, he's talking about his legacy and all this shit. Yo, just win games, dude. Just play ball and win games. He could have did much more for his legacy just playing out the string for the Pelicans. He could have quietly went to Gail Benson of the Pelicans and been like, yo, hey, this summer. He could have did it this summer. Listen, after this season, I'm not going to re-sign with the Pelicans, so I'm just want to come to you respectfully and let you know if y'all want to make a move or a trade or something, let's make that happen, but let's do it quietly. I'm not going to leak anything to the press or anything like that. If y'all do it, then that's a whole different situation, but I'm telling you one-on-one so we can do this. He could have did that. He could have called the owner. Anthony Davis could call the owner. Okay, he's that good. He could call the owner, and he could have did that. But instead, he wanted to pull this, I'm the CEO of my own company. I'm taking control of my destiny. Yo, Anthony Davis, you're the CEO. They about to fire your ass. Like, the board of directors about to vote you out because your first move as CEO didn't go too well. All right? So please stop with the I'm more than an athlete, all this shit. Be a fucking athlete. All right? That's why we know you. All right? We know your name because you play ball. So play fucking ball. Anyway, next team. Actually, we wasn't even done with the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans Pelicans, Drew Holiday. He's a guy who I would love to see on a good team. He's a great defender. He shows up and plays every single night. Put him on a team. I'm trying to think of a team who could use somebody like Drew Holiday. Imagine him on a team like the Spurs. Put him on a team like the Sixers could actually use Drew Holiday now. They traded him for, I think they traded Drew Holiday. Wasn't that the Nerlens Noel pick that they traded Drew Holiday for? Or Okafor? One of those dudes. They should have, obviously in hindsight, they should have kept him. Drew Holiday is a guy who deserves to be on a good team. So unfortunately, he's on the trash team. Memphis Grizzlies. I'm not sure how much of a future this team has. So they held on to Mike Conley even though they traded Gasol. Maybe they just didn't get the right deal from Mike Conley, but they should have got rid of Mike Conley because he makes a whole lot of money and he deserves to be on a good team, not because Mike Conley's a bad player. Jaren Jackson Jr., he was on my fantasy team for a good stretch. He has a future. That guy's going to be very good. He's going to be an all-star. Nothing else to say about Memphis. Minnesota Timberwolves. Jimmy Butler sabotaged them. Player empowerment. Sabotaged them to get himself out. Karl Anthony Towns is a stud, but here's the challenge with Karl Anthony Towns. First of all, can you even make the playoffs if he's your best player? Last year, Jimmy Butler was their best player. Right? He was the alpha dog, if we want to use that phrase, on that team. He's the reason that they made the playoffs. And when he came back from injury, he's the one that got them in the playoffs. Karl Anthony Towns is a great player. He's an all-star. We know what he can do. He might be the next best center in the league. You got Embiid. You got Embiid, Jokic, Anthony Davis, if he's a center, which he pretty much is, and Karl Anthony Towns. He's in that conversation, right? As the best bigs in the league. Centers, I mean. Gobert, and I know there's a few others that I'm forgetting, but he's up there, right? We can agree. But the Timberwolves went fucking 36 and 46. Like, y'all got to do better than that, Karl Anthony Towns. You the best player on the team. You got a max contract. You got to do better than that. He got to be able to take that team to something. I heard Bill Simmons once say, a superstar is a player who, if you don't put, it doesn't matter who you put around him, he's getting your team to 40 to 45 wins and you're making the playoffs. Even if you lose in the first round, a superstar is getting you to the playoffs, 40 to 45 wins. You might lose in the first round, but you're getting it. That's a superstar. Karl Anthony Towns is a great player. He's a star, but you ain't a superstar winning 36 games. I'm sorry, you're not. Derrick Rose is on that team. He was a good feel-good story for the 50 games that he played in, but he got to play a whole season for me to say he's made a real comeback. 50 games out of 82 ain't enough. Andrew Wiggins. Do we have any Andrew Wiggins fans watching this video, or Timberwolves fans, or Canadians watching this video? Somebody please tell me, what the hell is Andrew Wiggins doing? I have no idea. When I say I don't know what he's doing, I mean, I know he'll get you like 20-some points a game, but he's 6'8", long-ass arms, super athletic. I mean, is anybody in the NBA more athletic? He might not be the best athlete, but he's up there with any athlete in the league, right? Why isn't he grabbing 9 rebounds a game? Why is he not blocking 1.5 to 2 shots a game? Why doesn't he get more 1.5 to 2 or 3 steals a game? Why does he just seem to not impact the game much? Why can weeks go by and I don't even think about the fact that, hey, what's Andrew Wiggins up to? And somebody who's an Andrew Wiggins fan, Timberwolves fan, Canada fan, Kansas fan, or just an Andrew Wiggins fan, tell me what the hell is going on with Andrew Wiggins, because they gave him a contract for a lot of money, similar, close to what Karl Anthony Towns is getting. That's your 1-2 punch, right? That's your Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Why are these guys not winning games when they got these two guys making so much money? What the hell is Andrew Wiggins doing? Somebody tell me in the comments, what the hell is Andrew Wiggins doing? Andrew Wiggins is watching this video or somebody knows him, send him this video, just fast forward to this part. Andrew Wiggins, what are you doing? You're 6'8", you're athletic, you can score, you're getting 20-some points a game. So that means you're on the court, you're playing. Where's the rebounds? Where's the blocks? Where's the steals? Where's the assists? Like, Andrew Wiggins should be Paul George. Everything Paul George can do, Andrew Wiggins can do. Everything. And he probably might have more athleticism than Paul George. Why does he not impact the game? I'm not even talking about necessarily raw stats or even the deeper stats, advanced stats. I'm just saying the impact on the game. When he's on the court, why do we not notice this guy? Why does his name not come up? What's happening with this dude? Somebody help me out. Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, I think we said enough about the Lakers when I talk about LeBron and he has inspired a lot of players to empower themselves and become CEOs of their own companies. But actually, let me say a few more words on LeBron. I'm not knocking LeBron for doing this because LeBron actually did it and he did it right. And he's done it successfully. That's why everybody else is trying to follow him, right? Jimmy Butler, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and a bunch of other players who we aren't talking about right now. They're all trying to follow his blueprint of being more than an athlete, empowering yourself, putting yourself first above the team and above the organization. LeBron did it in a classy way. He did it the right way. He wasn't messy about it, except for the decision. That's the only time he did it in a messy way. Besides that, he's done it right. Then you even got Antonio Brown, another guy who came on a LeBron PR machine to defend himself after sounding like a dick and talking shit about his teammates and coaches after he got traded. But anyway, a lot of athletes are trying to follow his blueprint, but y'all gotta do, if you wanna be LeBron in terms of empowering yourself, you gotta follow his ways. Let me tell you some things LeBron did that these other guys ain't doing. It's actually three specific things that LeBron James has done in being the CEO and player empowerment that none of these other dudes has done. And until they do this, and unless they are willing to do these three things, they can't be LeBron and follow his exact blueprint because these are the pillars of his blueprint. Number one, LeBron James signed one-year deals. He signed one-year deals with the Cavs. The whole time when he was back, he was signing one-year contracts. He went to the Lakers and signed, what, a 4-year deal? But besides that, he was signing these one-year deals, which gave him the leverage to put the pressure on the team to, get the players that I want or I'm leaving. Get the players I want, I'm leaving. Get the players or I'm leaving. He could hold that over their head every year, and contractually, on paper, he had the power to do that. And the reason he was able to do that, because he was willing to put a bet on himself that, look, I'm going to play so good this year that at the end of this year, I'm still going to be worth the max. And the year after that, I'm still going to be worth the max. And the year after that, I'm still going to be worth it. He was willing to put that bet on himself. Anthony Davis, you signed a 5-year deal. Jimmy Butler, he's looking for a max contract. Kyrie's looking for a max contract. Antonio Brown I don't follow football that close, but he ain't signed no 1-year deal. All right, none of these dudes, Kevin Durant even, I think he did a 1-year deal this year, but he doesn't have the same, it's not the same gravity with Kevin Durant. And he hasn't also not made so much of a fuss, but it's been a thing because he hasn't said what he's going to do. But if you want to be that, you got to be willing to bet on yourself like LeBron did. That's number one. Number two thing LeBron did, motherfucker performed. LeBron James has won championships. He went to the finals 8 years straight. These are accomplishments that are in black and white. Nobody can argue them. Anthony Davis, what have you done? Kyrie Irving, what have you done when you wasn't on teams with LeBron James? Jimmy Butler, what have you done when you wasn't on teams? If you want to empower yourself and you're going to be somewhat of a dick, Antonio Brown, if you're going to be somewhat of a dick in the process of empowering yourself, you got to have the accomplishments to back it up. And LeBron has accomplishments on top of accomplishments. These other dudes don't have it, but they're trying to follow his blueprint without the achievements. You got to achieve first, then you can talk. And the number three thing LeBron James did, if you're going to be this CEO of your own company and all that shit, look at LeBron James' team. He got that TV show More Than an Athlete. You see it. You got Maverick Carter is he's like the business guy, right? Randy Mims is like his personal guy. Rich Paul's handling the agency and the business side. You got three dudes who's sharp, who are on top of their shit, who can handle their own business with or without LeBron in the room. He's empowered them to go be their own men and do their own thing, and everything centers around LeBron James. LeBron is the hub of the whole situation, right? He's the sun, and they all hover around him. And that's not in a bad way. I'm saying it in a good way. And it's hard to find in this world men who are willing to be like to say, look, this guy's a number one man and I'm on his team. It's hard to find men who will do that for a long time because men have that drive to be the guy. Look at Kyrie Irving getting himself traded off the Cavs because he didn't want to be behind LeBron anymore. Look at all these players in the league who they want to have their own team because they don't want to be behind somebody else who's the main guy. And it's hard to find men who are willing to do that. It's easy to do it with women because a woman could be in her peak and feel great and support the man. That's not to say the woman's beneath the man, but she's willing to support him and he could be the number one dude. And Dame Dash is somebody who talks about this. But LeBron has got 3 dudes around him who's like, yo, LeBron is the man. Maverick Carter, LeBron is the man. Randy said, LeBron is the man. Rich Paul said, LeBron is the man. And they're all willing to play their role, be that dude when they're doing their thing, but when LeBron walk in the room, LeBron is the dude. Look at these other guys. Who Anthony Davis got on his team? He signed with Rich Paul. Who Kyrie Irving got? We know Kevin Durant has his business partner dude. And who do these other guys have? Who Antonio Brown got? They don't have these things that LeBron James had, but they want to follow his blueprint. So again, and it's something that I said to basketball players a long time ago, if you want to follow the blueprint of another person, you can't just take the convenient parts. You got to take the parts that might not be so sexy, the parts that require some time, some hard work. If you're not willing to do those things, then you can't follow somebody's blueprint. You can't just take the parts that are easy and sexy and fun and look good on social media. You got to take the parts that took some time to build. And LeBron, he needs to take the responsibility of telling these dudes these things. He isn't doing that. He's co-signing the stupid shit that they're doing and saying as if they're right in doing it when they're not. He needs to come to them and be like, yo, look, do you notice that I did this, this, and this as well as these things that you're copying? You're copying this part, but what about this part? He's the one that needs to be able to tell them that if he's really the leader that he wants people to know that he is. But anyway, that's the LA Lakers. Last team that didn't make the playoffs in the West. We 30 minutes into this video, we didn't get to the series yet, but hopefully y'all stuck with me. The Sacramento Kings, 39 wins. They're on their way up. I always looked at Sacramento ever since the end of the Chris Webber, Vlade era as that team was a black hole. But, I mean, especially after they traded DeMarcus Cousins when they were actually doing well. That year, I think who was it? Mike Malone was coaching, DeMarcus Cousins was in there, then they fired Malone and hired George Karl, and they just fucked the whole thing up. But they actually have turned it around. They got Bagley, you got Harry Giles, and you got De'Aaron Fox, who's been a damn star. You got Bogdanovich, who's been great. Buddy Hield is in his right position. They got Harrison Barnes, who might be something. Who knows if he's going to stay with the team in the long haul. But they look like a future playoff team. Look like they might make the playoffs next year, but who they going to knock out? So now let's talk about the teams. 30 minutes in, let's talk about the teams who actually play in the playoffs. Now that we said all of that. Number 1 versus 8 matchup. Golden State Warriors versus the LA Clippers. The Warriors have been kind of quiet this year, even though they won 57 games. Kind of quiet, 3rd best record in the league. Clippers, Doc Rivers did a great coaching job. They didn't have any superstars. I mean, Tobias was doing great, but I wouldn't call him a superstar. Traded him, still winning, 48 wins, which is a lot for the 8th seed in the Western Conference. I see this as I'm gonna call this a 5-game series only because the Warriors are so fucking good. They're so talented. Steph Curry's the man. Kevin Durant's the man. Draymond, when he's locked in on D. Klay Thompson, quietly consistent. Man, Golden State's just too good. The Clippers deserve to play more than a 5-game series, but I think that's all they're gonna get because the Warriors are gonna wake up. It's playoff time. It's time to win that ring. I see this as a 5-game series just because it's the Warriors. They're too good. Against any other team in the top 4 in the West, the Clippers would make this a 6-game series, but because of the Warriors, this one's going 5. It's not going to be a sweep. Second series, Denver, number 2 against number 7 San Antonio Spurs. I think every team in the bottom of the West was trying to match up with the Denver Nuggets simply because, not because Denver's not good, but because they're unproven. Jokic is their best player. They got all these other Millsap, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris. Their bench has been excellent. They're a well-coached team. They won 54 games, but they're unproven. They haven't done it in the postseason. So I think the Spurs, who's as postseason grizzled as it gets, even though they change players, I think they want this matchup. I still think Denver's going to win because they're too much better than the San Antonio Spurs, but I see this as a 6-game series. Denver's going to have to kill the Spurs. They're going to have to chop their heads off. I'm not sure Denver's quite ready to chop heads off. I don't think the Spurs can take it to 7. I think they'll take it to 6. They don't quite have the firepower for 7, but they will make it a 6-game series, make it interesting. Denver's going to win, though. Jokic is going to be too much. There's nobody on the Spurs who can guard Jokic, and he's going to pick them apart. Third series, number 3, Portland against number 6, OKC. Uh-oh, it's going to be a tough one. This is going to be a close series. First of all, I love Damian Lillard versus Russell Westbrook. That's a matchup that I would sit and watch. Now, I don't know if I'm going to stay up late to watch these games, But this was one I'm going to be paying attention to. I'm going to be reading the stories. I'm going to be watching the highlights, even if I don't stay up to watch the whole games. Yeah, Damian Lillard versus Russell Westbrook. Those are two guards with a lot of pride. Those two guys who play with a chip on their shoulder. They both be the motor for their teams. You could say Paul George might be the best player on the Thunder, but Russell's still the motor for that OKC team. And there was a game this year where they were talking trash to each other anyway. So this is going to be a very, very good series. Even after last year when Portland, as a number 3 seed, I believe also last year, or number 3 seed, number 3 seed last year got swept by the Pelicans. I'm sure they remember that. So Damian Lillard, I'm sure he remembers it. He's the man on that team. Nurkic is injured, so they're undermanned. But if they lose again in the first round as a number 3 seed, people are gonna be like, yo, these dudes keep losing in the first round. As a higher seed, something's wrong. Damian Lillard, I know he knows about that. I know he's thinking about that. And Russell Westbrook and Paul George, I know they're like, yo, this is the best matchup we could have got in the first round. And we could definitely beat these dudes. So this is going to be a hell of a series. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out series. This will be the best series of the first round. Portland, OKC. This is a 7-game series. This will go 7. And I'm going to go with... I got to go with the OKC Thunder. I'm sorry, Portland fans. I'm sorry, Damian Lillard and Damian Lillard fans. Dame is the man. Dame is going to drop 40 twice in this series, at least. But the Pacers have, not the Pacers, the Thunder have Paul George and Russ, whereas Portland has Dame. They got CJ McCollum, but I don't put CJ in the same tier as those other 3 guys, unfortunately. And CJ can't guard neither of those dudes. So Paul George is going to put some work in this series. A healthy Paul George, I don't know how healthy he is. I mean, he's playing, so he's probably healthier than Blake Griffin for the Pistons. A healthy Paul George or a locked-in, focused Paul George and a locked-in, focused Russell Westbrook is just better than Dame and CJ. That's just the bottom line. Portland's going to lose in the first round again. OKC's going to win this series in an upset. They will win, and then they will move on to play against Denver in the second round, who I believe is going to win that series. I think OKC can beat Portland and Denver, and OKC can get all the way to the Western Conference Finals. That's a different conversation. First, they got to win this series, but I am picking OKC to beat Portland in 7 games in this series. This is going to be a very good series. You watch one series, watch this one. And the last one, Houston, Utah, 4-5. This is going to be a good series as well, because just the contrasting styles. You got of course, James Harden. We know his story. We know what he can do and how he dominates the ball. Chris Paul he'll be ready to play. I mean, he's been on mothballs like Kawhi Leonard kind of this year. He'll be ready to go. And they beat them last year, right? Houston beat Utah last year, but Utah's a year older. Donovan Mitchell is in his 2nd year now. Rudy Gobert is even better this year. And Utah knows that they lost last year. So they're going to want to prove something. They're going to want to beat Houston in this series. This is going to be a good series too. I see this one going, just because of the brilliance of James Harden, I say it goes 6, but Houston wins. Houston's going to win it in 6, just because James Harden's going to score 50, maybe twice. And Utah ain't got nobody who can guard him. But Utah's going to make it interesting. They're going to filter everything out to Gobert. They're going to take those shooters away from James Harden. It's going to be James Harden going one-on-one. Who's going to guard him? I don't know. That's why I think he's going to score 50 a couple times. They're going to try to force him towards Gobert. It's going to be a nice chess match and contrasting styles, but Utah is not going to beat Houston unless James Harden gets injured. And I don't think he will, because he's working out after the game and Instagramming it. So 50 points twice from James Harden is my prediction. That series goes 6. So that's it. Those are my picks for the West. I said a lot about the Western Conference here. So let me tell you again my picks. I got Golden State beating the Clippers in 5. Denver beats San Antonio in 6. OKC with the upset over Portland in 7. And Houston beats Utah in 6. So you tell me about everything I said about the trash teams that didn't make it. I know I said a lot about the trash teams. Tell me what I said about that. I mean, what you think about what I said about that. You agree, disagree? Am I a fool? Am I an idiot? Do I know nothing and have obviously never watched basketball before? If that's true, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think about my picks for each series. Did I get it right, the right number of games, or the reasons why? Maybe you agree with the pick, but I got the reasons wrong. Point that out. Put that down there in the comments, and make sure you leave your prediction before the series begin. Don't wait till the series start, and then after the game start, be like, oh no, Dre's gonna be this. No, wait your predictions now. I know I'm putting this out on Saturday morning. The games, not all the series start on Saturday, but the games do begin on Saturday. Make sure you put your picks down there. And I will be back. The next video I'm gonna do about the playoffs is gonna be, maybe I'll do Western Conference Finals. Actually, I'll probably do Western Conference Finals, and I'll do NBA Finals, of course. I'll do every game. But that's that. Those are my picks. Y'all know what it is. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.
Nobody out there needs more information. What you need these days is a strategy, frameworks, processes, how to actually take all the information that's out there, all the knowledge and content that's out there, make sense of it, and actually produce a result, a tangible result. That's why I created the Game Group. It is my membership site where you will get tangible results for specific areas: business, personal development, basketball skill, and professional basketball. Choose your area of focus, and we have targeted, specified outcomes every single month, along with live trainings, the ability to contact me, have your work critiqued by me, and a whole lot of other stuff. The link and all the information is down in the description at DreAllDay.com/membership. Get in the Game Group if you're ready to get some results and not just a whole bunch of information. Let's do it. Work on your game.